Why do white people adopt black children? It's a real question for me. Why do white people adopt black children and then say things like, I'm not raising black children, I'm raising children? Oh, are you?
I got a question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted? My second question is, why do you care who adopts them and what color they are as long as they love that child and raise them right? And lastly, I see color. I see color.
The privatization of CPS started by white people would be answer number one. The myriad of white people with intrinsic racism working in the child protective care system would be reason number two.
Feather and Lance were first arrested last October when a welfare check turned into the discovery of two teens apparently locked in a shed where investigators said they lived in deplorable conditions behind the Sissonville home. One other kid was found inside the house and two others were not home, all adopted by the couple.
Why do white people adopt black children?
Hi, I thought I would give my perspective on this because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it, and I've also been seeing a lot of ignorant comments going around. And I am a transracial international adoptee from Ethiopia in 2008, adopted by two white people, and the system has failed me. I have left my family at the age of 15. I've been lied about my paperwork. They've told me that my parents were dead. They were both alive, and I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that people have been saying that's just false.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing amazing. On today's episode, we are diving into a deep conversation, a conversation that needs to happen even if it makes some people uncomfortable. So recently, a black woman sparked intense debate after asking a bold question. Why do some white people adopt black kids and fail to teach them of their culture, ancestry, and history? Instead of engaging in a meaningful dialogue, she faced a wave of backlash, not only from the white critics, but some from even the black community too. What's even more troubling, many of her detractors seemed to ignore the painful history behind why this conversation is so important. So on this episode, we are diving into this controversy, unpacking the history, the cultural significance, and why conversations like this matter for the future of the community. So I want us to watch these videos together, guys. And actually, if you wanna, there are so many stitches that have been stitched to this video. So many people have done a duet on these videos. You can go and check, and I didn't put so much of the people that are actually against what she's saying, but I've also put so many of other people's video that have actually come online to show why her points are correct and she's right of what she's saying, and they're so happy that she actually brought up this conversation. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on our today's episode, credits belongs to the original creators of this video. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my good name is Gracey D. Kindly consider subscribing to this channel. Give this video a like. Let me know what your thoughts are on the comments section. And if you're there watching this video and you are a black child or you're already an adult who was adopted into a white family, we would love to know what or how your experience was. So let's dive right ahead to today's video and we'll come back with more commentary. Remember to be respectful on the comment section.
Why do white people adopt black children? It's a real question for me. Why do white people adopt black children and then say things like, I'm not raising black children, I'm raising children? Oh, are you? So this is UFC fighter Michael Chandler, and this is his wife. They've adopted two black children, and he recently did an interview where he stated he's not raising black children, he's raising children. And while I understand that he thinks that he means well by creating this piece of, I don't see color, let me tell you why that's a problem. Even though you claim that you and your wife don't see color, the world does. This is America. And so when those children look at you, this can be problematic because it ignores the racial and cultural identity of the child. By not acknowledging the child's racial background, you're going to inadvertently neglect certain aspects of their identity, which is black. You're going to neglect their experiences. You're going to neglect what they may go through when they get out in the real world, because they will not be treated like you. So when you say that you're not raising black children, you're only raising children. How are you going to explain to them when they get treated different in the schools that you put them in, when they get treated different out in society, when they get treated different in the workplace? How are you going to explain that to them? Is race going to come up then? Another reason why I don't understand why white people adopt black children is because a lot of times white people are not around a lot of black people, right? And so you're only going to have these black children around other white people. And I'm just assuming here, I don't know him personally, but I'm just saying for the most part, whenever we see white celebrities adopt black children, they have them within their group of friends, right? All white people. When they're not just, even though you're raising them, you want to expose them to their own culture. Do you have any black friends? Is there any type of cultural significance you can give these children? Any shows, any areas, any schools, anything to show them somebody who looks like them and not just like you? When these children grow up, or what we see most of the time, when these children end up growing up, they feel lost in the world and they don't know where they fit in. Because on one side of the spectrum, you really don't fit in with the black population because you've been raised as white, even though you are black. Then on the other side of the spectrum, you're around all these white people and they don't 100% accept you because at the end of the day, you're black. So with all of these complexities, why would you not acknowledge or raise your children as black children to prepare them the best that you can in the world? This I don't see color mentality does more harm than good, because while you claim you don't see color, we know you do. And that's not a bad thing. That's not to say that anybody's racist or anything like that. But when people claim that they don't see color, you do, because you're not blind. Everybody sees color. I'm looking at this picture right here and I see a white wife and a white husband and black children. So everybody sees color. And guess what? When they go out in the world is also going to see color. So I hope all the backlash that you've been getting for that interview that you did will enlighten you and your wife a little bit to open up your mind and give these children the best upbringing, because we know monetarily you can. We know monetarily you're going to give them the best life that they can have. They probably going to go to the best schools, best food, best area. That's all fine and dandy. But make sure you don't slip on that mental health, because by raising them as not black children is going to psychologically mess them up. Why do white people adopt black children?
I got a question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted? My second question is, why do you care who adopts them and what color they are, as long as they love that child and raise them right? And lastly, I see color. I see color. But when I see a little baby, I don't go, oh, look at that little white baby, or look at that little black baby. These are babies. They haven't been filled with ignorance yet. Let them babies be babies and grow up to be good people.
Why do white people adopt black children?
Hi, I thought I would give my perspective on this because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about it, and I've also been seeing a lot of ignorant comments going around. And I am a transracial international adoptee from Ethiopia in 2008, adopted by 2 white people, and the system has failed me. I have left my family at the age of 15. I've been lied about my paperwork. They've told me that my parents were dead. They were both alive, and I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that people have been saying that's just false. For one, the creator, I've been seeing people stitch the creator, and the first thing they say is, well, these people are opening their homes, but are you? Clearly, she said monetary isn't the issue. And in the interview, he talked about how, well, I just want to be a good human being and help other people, and white saviorism. Money isn't the issue, but you guys equate money with love. You don't understand. She's talking about their culture. I grew up in Ethiopia. I remember the first time I'd seen a white person. And then less than a year later, I come to this country and my parents are white. I'm surrounded by all white people. My parents had money. They were rich. That wasn't the issue. I grew up in Catholic schools. I grew up in all white areas, all white schools. I grew up getting bullied, racist comments here and there. Didn't know what to do with my hair. People said my hair looked like curtain rods. Like comments, blackface. People saying the N-word, constant. I changed my name 4 different times. Because I had identity issues, because I never seen other Ethiopians, let alone adoptees. I forgot my language. They told me that my mom was dying and that my dad was dead. Come to find out, my dad was alive. He just died 6 months ago. As of today, he was assassinated. Come to find out, I had 4 siblings. Come to find out, my mom was alive. My whole family was looking for me and that I wasn't supposed to be adopted. They trafficked me. And if you look at my video, that's my first video that I made, you can read all the hundreds of comments of people saying that they were trafficked too and that they have the same story and that their parents were looking for them too. Money isn't the issue. I see comments of this guy saying, yeah, he's a UFC fighter. So what? Have you heard about Madonna? Have you heard about Angelina Jolie? Money isn't the issue. You guys don't know. You guys just see a poor kid in a third world country and you have money, or you see a poor kid, a black kid, and you can, like in an improvised country, a black kid whose parents are on drugs, and you can save them. You can help them. That's what you see, because you can be a good person. You're able to provide that. But you fail to see who they are and incorporate their identity. You guys are missing the whole point. And then I saw another TikToker who works for the agencies and has been a part of DHS or whatnot. And he was talking about, like, what would you want? Would you want them just like stuck in a house together? Just the nonsense. Believe it or not, yeah, I would have rather been in my third world country with my parents who were both alive rather than being here where I was kicked out at the age of 15 and I had nobody in this country. You guys listen to adoptees. Why? There's a whole thing of adoptees. I can send you all my friends that have been trafficked or been kicked out of their families or their paperwork lied or falsified. But yet you guys are saying that they look at family and find if there's reunification. Second, no they don't. No they don't. It's all about money. They just make money off of us. How about you listen to the real people, the adoptees? You're just talking nonsense.
I got a question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted? My second question is,
because there's no health equity for black women in this country. That's why. Black women are dying at 70 times the rate of white women from preventable pregnancy complications and preventable birth complications because white doctors are choosing not to listen to their black patients. You might just see these little children as little babies right now, but when they grow up and they become adults, people see them as black men and black women and they get treated that way. What we need to do to prevent that is a paradigm shift away from anti-blackness and away from the normalization of anti-blackness in society, because it's actually causing people to die and not be able to take care of their children. Not only that, but when it comes to foster care, black women are more likely than white women to have their children removed from their care for the same reason. Taking black children and indigenous children away from their mothers and having them raised by white people isn't new. It's part of a quite insidious history. And after hearing from transracial adoptees, I really think that it's incredibly important that if you are a white person who is going to transracially adopt a child, that you're giving them culturally competent care. And that you are able to, as a parent, practice the cultural humility necessary to seek help from members of their community when the situation warrants.
I got a question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted?
So yeah, and also our numbers are going down. They have been going down for the past 20 years. Your numbers have been going up. There are currently over, I want to say, 150,000 white children in the foster care system, juxtaposed to roughly 80,000 in the black community. And once again, our numbers are going down. So take that into consideration. And once again, the suspicions are valid. They're valid. And to respond to the non-point at the end of his video, great that you see color. Great, because so does the rest of the world. And especially for black people and black children. And if you are a white person and you decide that you want to adopt non-white children, especially black children, pretending that things like racial disparities don't exist are detrimental to you raising those black children. And furthermore, if black children have to experience racism, then you as a white adult can learn to counteract, to learn to recognize and to counteract racism. Plain and simple.
I got a question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted?
The privatization of CPS, started by white people, would be answer number one. The myriad of white people with intrinsic racism working in the child protective care system would be reason number two. But how about let's talk about the fact that my people only had 21% of last year's adoption rate, where your people had 43%. So why don't you tell me why there's so many white babies that need to be adopted? And to the pick-me-ass style black women that were all up in that man's comment section practically sucking it from the back, y'all are sad. Do better.
A question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted? My second question.
Well, hell, let me get in line too. Why are so many coloreds in this man's comment section supporting these antics and apologizing? The original question still stands. Because before he got on here with his tender feelings, he could have did his own research, but this young man did it for him. So let's take it back to the top of the hour. Why are there so many white people adopting black babies when there are more than enough white babies to be adopted, as opposed to bringing that back black baby into their I don't see color household and failing to raise them to where they know who they are as a black person navigating in society and give them the right tools to do so? Because what is going to happen, which is we see prevalent on this app, you all do not acknowledge that they're black. And then they have an identity crisis that then the black community have to deal with, because now they turn to us and put the mental and emotional and physical labor on the black people in order to help direct and guide them, because you all failed to do it in their childhood. So we'll be waiting on the answer. I use the word color because that's how y'all acting. Get y'all a respectable Negro ass from out of that man comment section. I expect that from him. I expect y'all to use a little bit more common sense.
Adopt black children.
I got a question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted?
How about it might be because that, the system likes to take children from black people that do not need to have their children taken away. Or even this, how about that there are so many black children that languish in the system because they're too old or not adoptable in the system? How about, did you know that Child Protective Services and any other moniker that they have under is based off of slavery? See, when slavery was abolished, they couldn't just take children from enslaved Africans and indigenous people and other people of color, because it was illegal. So they had to create a system for them to have that opportunity to do so. And it comes from the fact that there are so many children who were taken away by their parents off of a gut feeling, when all it was is just they were trying to make some money. So if you're gonna have this badass take, like lots of white people do, maybe you should do some history. Maybe you should actually look at why black people do not want white people adopting children, because they are literally trying to get children who are babies from people who are like myself, who do not have the resources, who do not have the financial stability to be able to take care of their children, and all they need is resources from the government to take care of their children, to stop taking these children out of home that they do not need to be taken out of. I hope that this reaches adoptee talk and adopter talk and former foster youth talk, because I need y'all to tell y'all stories in the comments. If y'all have a story in the comments of knowing that you should have never been taken away from your family, please duet or stitch my video.
Yeah guys, so this is the video that I came across, and I looked the number of people that have actually stitched that video to come at this woman. Most of them are actually white people. And reason being, I was asking myself, why is this even happening? But I got to remember is that it's all about money. Most people think everything about this life is all about money, and some people think that's the happiness and that's the love that people are looking for. And actually, as you've seen on the video, the reason as to why most white people don't go on ahead and adopt other white kids or white babies is because they believe that all white people have money. This is a mentality that white people have, especially those that are from America. And I got to know these not only white people, now black Americans. There is this mentality of some black Americans. I'm not saying all, and I'm saying this because I've gotten in to talk to a person that have this same mentality. The reason as to why even it's hard for some people, for some black Americans to even help their own families, to help their own brother, because they believe you are in America, the land of dream and honey, the land of milk and honey. You're supposed to be able to get your money. You're supposed to be able to work for yourself. So this guy actually, who is actually a friend of mine, is so okay to actually send $1,000 back to someone who is in Africa rather than helping their brother, because they believe their brother is lazy or they don't want to work. They can work for themselves and help themselves. This is because the system has made you be like this. The system has given you this mentality. So when I think of white people adopting black kids, it's because they believe they have the money and I'm adopting them because they are poor. This is the mentality that most of these people, I think, they have. So the reason as to why I actually saying that this woman that on this video, every point and everything that she talked about, she was right, and actually I back her, because there's nothing worse. I've seen so many videos, I've seen so many documentaries. There's actually a video that was actually on the news trending last year. The first clip or the first of the video that you've seen on the first few minutes of this news that was reporting on these two couples that actually went on ahead and adopted 5 kids only to go and enslave them, which is quite sad. So they were using them for work. I don't know what they were using them for, and I don't know if this made them happy. I don't know what actually goes through people's minds when they do such things. I mean, why would you even go pay money, adopt someone, and then you want to bring them and make them your, it's quite sad. So I went on ahead and I did, I did a research as to why so many people are not understanding this. And maybe after reading this research that I've gathered for you, maybe some of you will understand regarding the problems black kids face when adopted into white families. One of them being cultural and identity confusion, lack of exposure to black culture. Adopted black children often grow up disconnected from their culture, heritage, traditions, and history. Limited understanding of racial identity. White parents may not fully prepare their children to navigate the complexities of being black in a racially stratified society, especially them being raised in America, and you all know how things are there, especially when you're a black person. Feeling of otherness. These children may struggle to reconcile their black identity with the predominantly white environment they are raised in. Number 2, parents' lack of awareness or preparation, minimizing race issues. Some white parents may adopt a colorblind approach, unintentionally neglecting to address the unique challenges their Black children will face, which I feel most of these people, they don't do that, because you find most of these kids are taken to only white schools. They're only living in a white only neighborhood. Some of them face backlash, hate, and so much that some of them, even as a kid, if you come from a poor family, of you've been adopted and you're told that your parents are no longer there, you don't know your family members, you even be afraid to go and tell your parents what you're going through, because some of these kids are scared of being kicked out and being told that they are ungrateful. So some of these kids are living in the mercy of their parents, because they always have to agree with whatever the parents says, because I mean, they adopted this kid, so it's to them, they're helping you. That's how most of these people see this. Inadequate support for racial experiences. Parents may lack the tools or acknowledge to help their children deal with racism or microaggressions. Number 3, the need to belong versus reality of exclusion. Not fully accepted in either community, adopted Black children may feel out of place in both Black and white communities, leaving them in a state of social limbo. Pressure to assimilate. The child might feel pressured to conform to the norms of their white adoptive family, suppressing their Black identity to fit in. I mean, you're adopted to this family. Of course, you're gonna be grateful. They're raising you, they're paying your school fees, they're feeding you, they're clothing you and all that. So some of these kids may feel the need of them to fit in this family, in this culture, but we all know it's quite hard. Racism within and outside the family. Facing racism alone, these children often encounter racism at school or in public without adequate guidance from parents who may not understand the experience. White people, of course, they're not gonna understand these experiences. Some of them may not know how to talk to their kids. I heard Black people call it the talk. Some white parents will not be able to tell you, when you're pulled over by the cops, you have to put your hands on the step, because they don't have this experience. They don't understand this. And these will actually negatively affect this child, because they don't have anyone to guide them. The psychological toll. Internalized inferiority. A lack of positive Black role models or exposure to Black excellence can lead to feelings of inferiority or shame. Struggles with self-esteem. Children might wrestle with self-acceptance due to being raised in an environment that doesn't celebrate their natural hair, skin tone, or culture. Invisibility of ancestry and history. Erasure of Black history without guidance. These children may grow up ignorant of the struggles, triumphs, and contributions of their ancestors. Disconnection from roots. Many adoptees express a desire to learn about their biological heritage and connect with their birth family or cultural roots later in life. This is what most white adoptives should do. Cultural education for adoptive families. White parents should actively seek to learn about and teach their children Black culture, history, and traditions. Community involvement. Encourage relationship with Black mentors, peers, and communities to provide cultural grounding. Open conversations about race. Parents must be equipped to discuss race, racism, and identity openly and supportive. So, as this lady said, when this guy was asked why he's raising Black children or why he adopted Black children, he said for him, he doesn't see color. For him, he's not raising a Black child. He's just for him, he's not raising Black children. He's just raising kids. So first of these, I find it mean that they didn't want to acknowledge that these are actually Black babies that have or come from different traditions and different cultures from what he comes or this couple come from. And people were so quick to judging this woman and coming at this woman, not even understanding that these are some of the things that these kids will need to learn. These are some of the things that these parents need to be ready. They need to be ready to teach these kids this. They need to be ready to teach these kids what they will go through. But he said, or they say, they don't see color. They are not raising black children. They are raising children, which I found it to be quite mean, because they want to, back in their mind, they are okay for these children not to learn of their culture, not to learn of their history, and they don't care. It seems like they will not care when these kids go out there and face a lot of racism, which of course, I mean, you all know, understand, or what I'm trying to say. So I saw this video and I was like, let me share this video with you guys, and I would love to know what your thoughts are on the comment section. And as I said when we started this video, remember to be respectful on the comment section. And if you're a black kid who was adopted into a white family and now you are an adult, maybe tell us, how has your experience been in the family, to the extended families, in schools and the neighborhoods that you've been living in? Thank you so much for watching up to this part, and until the next episode, bye.